Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTBase.com. Welcome to this week's Commitment to Traders review. Today we're going to have a look at the 33rd COT report of 2013, and as usual we're going to start off with the changes in commercials positions. So here we go. Soybean Meal is our first market. We have a 31% change in commercials positions and roughly the same changes in large speculators and small speculators. You can see the changes over here a bit larger than average. Actually, it's much larger than average. And of course, we always look at the COT Extreme as well. So we're going to open the 5-year chart and see everything in a wider perspective. And as you can see on this chart, the last 1.5, 2 years history, you can see that we had a few relative extremes that could push prices higher. So we can see that we don't necessarily have to reach all-time extreme levels, such as over here in 2012, to really get a major signal. Of course, it's a bit more difficult to find them, but anyhow, if you look at the pattern, it seems that this relative extreme we had 2 weeks ago may have put an end to this last decline, and we could see prices rise from here. Okay, our next market, the Dow Jones, we have a 30% change in commercials positions and 28% change in large speculators. You can see the changes over here, and if we look at the chart, there's a very similar change back over here, and the price action before that was very similar as well. After a decline, we got this bit larger change size, and then prices started to continue their rally mode. Let's have a look at the 5-year chart and see everything in a wider perspective. You can see that if we look at the COT charts, we are very close to major COT extreme levels. We may not be at all-time extreme levels, but we're definitely witnessing large stresses in indexes actually all over. So the big question is this the top? Are we going to see prices decline from here for the upcoming month, or are we going to see the widening of this extreme, which of course may easily happen? If you look at the pattern over here, we always thought that, okay, that's the extreme, and then we're moving away, but then again we got another an even larger extreme. So that's the big question. And if we do see the widening of the COT charts over here, the extreme getting larger, of course we should expect prices to continue their rally. That's the big question here. When do we reach the turning point? Live cattle is our next market. We have a 23% change in commercials positions, roughly the same change size in large speculators. We had a similarly large change last week, and as you can see, after the change, we witnessed a few days of decline in prices. We couldn't really see the continuation of this rally that started a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago now. Let's open a 5-year chart and see the extreme in this market as well. We can talk about, at least if we look at this 2.5 years history, that we are at an extreme. Maybe it's not an all-time extreme, as I said in Soybean Meal, but it's definitely an extreme, and it is a bearish signal. It may push prices lower from here. Okay, let's move on and have a look at large speculator COT Extreme. Here we go. Cotton, lean hogs, and cocoa. Okay, let's talk about cotton first. We have an all-time extreme in large speculators positions over there. And as you can see, we have a huge drop in prices. Of course, the big question is this simply a rollover, but I believe it is truly a decline in prices, because these are daily charts. Let's open a 5-year chart and see this extreme on a wider time frame. You can see that we are definitely at an extreme level, even for commercials. In large speculators, of course, definitely we have an all-time extreme. And okay, I just pointed at this false extreme. This was a commercial capitulation, if you remember. It's on our webpage as an example. But before that, whenever we reached extreme levels, that usually coincided with a top in prices. And again, we're witnessing this extreme developing again, and we may see the continuation of this decline. Lean hogs is our next market. We've been talking about lean hogs in the past couple of weeks. There was this all-time extreme level. Although I mistakenly told you last week that we witnessed huge declines in prices last week, maybe even limit down days. But if we look at this 1-year chart, you can see that it's basically just a rollover. But anyhow, even if this is a rollover, you can see prices declining, basically reacting to this extreme. I'm going to open the wider time frame so that you see lean hogs. And of course, again, we're talking about another market that nicely reacts to these major extremes in the COT report. So we may see prices decline even further. And then let's get on to our last market, cocoa. We have a 287 report extreme, both in large speculators and commercial positions. These are large extremes, not all time, but still definitely visible extremes if you look at the chart. And of course, these are bearish extremes, and we may see prices decline from here. And if we go back in time, we had a relative extreme pushing prices a bit higher, but now we're witnessing that we've moved away from that level, of course. And as we do, we get closer to COT extremes, large stresses in the market, we will witness, or we should witness, some kind of a change in the direction of prices. And if this will happen, of course, we will witness a decline in prices. That was all for this week. I hope you enjoyed this review. But before I go on, if you would like to have a look at other COT charts, you can do so at our COT charts page. And of course, if you would like to have a more in-depth and detailed COT analysis, where you look at maybe new COT report types like CIT, TIF, or maybe disaggregated COT reports, of course, you look at COT, other COT data types like the futures and options data. You can add other useful functions to your table, the long-term trend, volume and open interest scores, and of course the COT index, all sorts of very useful functions at cotbase.com. So again, I hope you enjoyed my review, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.